Oh, all right. And it's moving really slow. All right. Okay, there we go. I'm back and we're live. Aloha, everyone. I sure hope you're seeing this, but man, if you're here on Oahu today, you know this wind is raising havoc with the internet and with power. So bear with us. We'll hope you can be patient, but we're on with the show. The show must go on. I am getting true meaning of that today. Welcome to the Caring Caregiver Show. I am your host, Savvy. I'm the founder of Give Me a Break, a nonprofit organization that's caring for caregivers. We're here to bring back the joy of caregiving. And each week we help caregivers to survive. And not just to survive, but to thrive as well. You can check out our website, and I'm going to just tick that on. I'm not going to tick that on. I can't even see my screen right now. So you can go to gab808.org. Gosh, if you don't know it by now, you should know it. It's just gab808.org. Give me a break. And for more information, and because we know, you know what, we know that as a caregiver, you're at your wit's end. We know what it's like to be a caregiver. We're all caregivers. Everything we do is from a caregiver's POV. It's from your point of view, and we're here for you. We're here to offer you a break every week, and that's on our weekly support sessions. They are free and online, and that makes it totally convenient for you to do it right on your phone. You can be right anywhere and do that, and it's totally affordable. Doesn't cost you a penny. You can join in any Tuesday evening from 8 p.m. or Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. That's all Hawaii Standard Time. So if you're tuning in from anywhere else in the world, please make sure you make that adjustment for the time. Every caregiver just needs to be on our sessions. It's so funny. We just had our session last night, and our caregivers are saying the same thing. They're like, "Gosh, so and so, I know so and so as a caregiver needs to be. I wish they were here to hear that." And it's just life changing. We're talking about caregiver survival, and we just started our new series called "Letting Go of Caregiver Guilt." Yeah, you know what that's like. And so it's really an important series, an important place to be. It's your safe space. You can go on to our website again, gab808.org, or just contact us. If you need any information, it's info@gab808.org. And, you know, the Caring Caregiver Show also is sponsored by Givers Guides magazine. And Givers Guides is your Okay, I think I'm back. I hopefully am back, you guys. All right, and we're doing it again. It's going to be off and on this whole show, so bear with me. You know my spiel about Giver's Guides really is important for you to get your subscription, and you can find that subscription at right here. There it is, giversguides.com, and just go and get it because you're going to want this. You're going to need it. It's written just for you. In fact, to tell you a little bit more about that and to share a little bit more about an article in the magazine, I want to bring in my co-host today. Welcome, please, Lonnie Almanza. Hi, Lonnie, are you there?
I am. Can you all hear me?
I can hear you. I can't see the screen, but who knows if we can see you live. So
all right.
This way, if you have to scratch your nose or anything, we're fine.
All right. Well, thanks again for having me as your co-host. I really enjoy getting to know our guests. And like we were saying a little bit earlier, you know, everybody kind of knows the big names in caregiving, AARP and, you know, the health insurance.
And they're amazing.
These are people right here in our community and around the world that we are finding share this caregiving journey with us. And so that's why we bring them to you. And that's part of what Givers Guides does as well. So first I want to say that we want to recognize all of the caregiving women out there today. International Women's Day. So if there's a woman in your life that has cared for you or that you're caring for, please give them some extra love today and recognition. It's
and
also National Nutrition Month.
And you know, a mother is the first caregiver that you ever know. So really, you guys, shout out to your moms, because they took care of you from the very beginning. And so they're your very first caregiver. And really, all the other women heroes and the women warriors in your life, shout out to all of them, and to you as well, Lonnie, because you are truly a woman warrior in everything that you've done in your life. So.
Oh, thank you. Yes, so I appreciate that. And as a mother, that caregiver journey doesn't end. And I can share more about that with you as we go through these sessions, through our podcasts and our support sessions. And I have a book coming out this summer that'll tell that story as well. But back to our Givers Guides. It's National Nutrition Month. And so in this month, we are talking about taking care of ourselves. And I have an article about eating well, because oftentimes as a caregiver, you forget to eat. You're busy feeding other people and you forget to feed yourself, both physically and spiritually and mentally. So check out the article, get your subscriptions. But we want to make sure that caregivers are taking care of themselves, taking time for themselves, because the statistics are that 30% of caregivers will pass away before the person they care for. And if you're over the age of 70 in that caregiver role, that shoots up to 70%. So that kind of averages out to 50% of all caregivers will not survive the one that they care for.
Yeah, my God.
We can't.
That's just horrible. It's
That's not acceptable.
It's not an acceptable statistic. 50% of caregivers. That means if you know a bunch of caregivers, say you know 3 people, 2 people, 4 people, let's go for an even number. You know 4 people who are taking care of somebody right now. A parent, 4 people who have kids, or 4 people who are taking care of their mother or father or their grandfather, or they have a spouse who's ill. Okay, 2 of them are going to pass before the ones they're caring for. I mean, that's not acceptable. That is not acceptable. We have to do something about that, because if something happens to you, then who takes care of them? And I mean, it's horrible. You're already operating in chaos. You need to see the red flags. You could have an accident. Something could happen to you. And you could be suffering from caregiver burnout even right now. So subscribe today. Get your subscription. And this month is really all about eating well, taking care of yourself, and nutrition. So, as always, your first subscription is always free. So 12 months for $24.99, not a bad deal at all. All right, so let's get on with the show before we lose signal. I've already been coming in and out like 3 times. So let's get on with the show. Lonnie, who's our first guest?
All right, well, we're here with our first guest, who is here to revitalize and re-energize home health by developing a mobile and web app. Oh my gosh, that's so needed. That matches home health clients with skilled, dedicated home health professionals based on the service they need, the location, and their desired schedule. And on top of this matching technology, they also use the unique nursing expertise of their founder to develop a matching system that cultivates a healthcare worker community centered around self-care while providing excellent client service. And I think that's so important. Before I give her name, I have a son who was a hospital chaplain. He now works for a healthcare organization. And that's something they're focusing on, is how to care for those caregivers in the healthcare industry. So let's welcome Francis Acubuilo, CEO and founder of Match HHA.
There we go. I am working on it.
Oh, but you've got Todd instead of Francis.
I do, and and there we go. And I'm having a hard time because there we go. Hey, Francis, great to see you. Well, I can't see you.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
We can see you fine.
Okay.
We are having fun today. I'm telling you. Don't worry. Our biggest listeners are in podcasts, so we can just keep talking away. And
Perfect.
it is so wonderful to have you here. And
Yes.
of course, like I tell everybody that joins our show, and I know you go by Dr. Franny, so please tell us your caregiving story and really what drew you to support caregivers.
Yes. And again, thanks for having me. Happy International Women's Day. Um, yeah, so my story, I am a registered nurse. I've been a registered nurse for a little over 10 years. And you may be wondering why I call myself Dr. Franny. Well, I actually have a doctorate degree in nursing practice. So with that, I specialize in self-care and health and wellness of healthcare workers. So I pretty much spend majority of my time trying to figure out how to make healthcare workers be their best self while they're providing care for, their patients. So I kind of see myself as a caregiver of healthcare workers as well, because as you said, like who's going to care for the person who is giving care? We have to think about that as well. Also, I am a mom of three, so I have three little ones at home. So pretty much the ultimate caregiver over here. I'm just all over. But yeah, that's my caregiving story, and I really appreciate what you all are doing. That's why I love the whole concept of give me a break, and I definitely will be bringing people to your door for resources because it's much needed.
That's
Oh, did we
awesome.
lose?
Yeah, I that whole concept of self-care is something that no matter what group of caregivers you're in, it's something that goes by the wayside really quickly because we
Yep.
focus a lot on the person we're caring for. So
Mm-hmm.
bringing that to this group, but share with us a little bit more about your experience, your match business,
Yes.
and the app. I'm really excited to hear about somebody creating an app for this.
Yes. Yes. So as you mentioned, the our company is called Match HHA. So we pronounce it matcha, kind of a play off of the drink matcha. And matcha has health benefits as well. So that's what we're trying to bring to both healthcare workers and the clients who healthcare workers are serving. So I've been working in home health even before I became a nurse. Over about 14 years. My parents started a home health agency since I was in nursing school. So I grew up in the home health world, and I'm very passionate about helping people who are at home who may not have the care that they need, helping them get those healthcare workers in their home, and it gives them the opportunity to be at home and receive healthcare instead of going to the hospital, and preventing things like injuries and infections while they're at home. So that is my number one love, my passions, home health. So that's why we saw a technological need in the home health world, because there are a lot of clients who are stuck at home who don't have any access to caregivers. They don't know how to get them. They don't know how to reach out to them. So that's why we are developing this. And right now doing everything manually, but um, we are in the phase of trying to get as many healthcare workers interested as possible so we can, expand, go to different states, and see who's interested in joining this field and what we can do for them in terms of making sure they're in a healthy work environment. So that's our one of our main missions, is making sure caregivers are taken care of as well as the clients that they're serving are being taken care of.
So what state are you currently most active in?
We are in California, so we provide services mostly in Orange County, Los Angeles County, and Riverside, San Bernardino counties in California.
Yeah, so I think
Yes.
that's one of the things that this podcast and Give Me a Break tries to do is really create that community of caregivers holding hands, because we might know someone that's in your area that we can refer, and vice versa. But if we don't hold hands, these gaps will continue to be there for caregivers and their families.
Yes, exactly. Yes, and we get inquiries from all over. People asking, "Do you guys provide service here?" We don't, but we love to hear if anyone's looking for resources or any information on how they can work with us. We do have the ability to reach out to people in any area in the United States. So we encourage you to reach out to us. You can go on our website and fill out our contact form or fill out our connect with us form, and we'll speak with you, learn about your experiences, and see how we can work with you to find a healthier way to work.
Awesome. She's back. She's in, she's out.
I feel like a phantom. I missed all of this and I wanted so much to be able to hear everything, but I just hope our caregivers are listening will be able to hear everything. And so while I'm here, gosh, amazing what you do, and I'll put my 2 cents in there, but not even sure where we are in the interview. I have been in and out so much.
Well, she shared where she works, how she works, how we can connect people with her. And again, I think just that whole concept, oftentimes the healthcare industry workers are seen as, that's your professional job. You've been trained to handle all of that. And we forget about the fact that they have compassion burnout. That they go home at the end of the day after a 12-hour shift with a client and still have to care for their family or their loved ones. And so oftentimes, again, their self-care and healthcare strategies get put on the back burner. So,
right. Well, we just found that too. We just did that pamper session for the Arcadia care workers. And one of the things when I was talking to them about doing the meditation, and I said to them, I know you're care workers, but you go home, and then I guarantee you have people you care for at home. You probably have to go home and make dinner for everyone. And they all just nodded, and you saw their shoulders just drop like someone understands us, because you still have to care even when you're not getting paid for it. So, bless our care workers, because they get us through so much all the time. And then you still have caregiving that you have to do when you get back home. So it's a heavy load. And you need breaks, and people need to recognize that you need things too. And I love your concept of the app, because that's something that anyone can have access to. They can get on it, they can get rejuvenated and revitalized right then and there. Mm-hmm. And so I really was excited to have you on the show.
Yeah, and a healthy caregiver, is always better than a burnout one, whether you're professional or in your home.
Well, and they're part of that statistic, right? Yeah. They're part of that statistic of those that are not going to survive, those you care for. And that's just not happening. That's not a good thing at all. And we need to change that statistic. And I love that your app is contributing to that.
Yes, and I always like to point out also it's good for people around the caregivers to be that voice to them and to actually, advocate and fight for them to practice those self-care, because sometimes the caregivers themselves, they don't even realize what's going on and how they can do more to take care of themselves. So I always encourage like leaders and organizations like your organization to take that lead and helping caregivers, like pull them aside to help them to, practice those self-care activities, because it does take, I guess in this sense, it takes a village too to help in that regard. So.
Yeah, well, and that's why we're so focused on forming community and holding hands with as many resources as possible. It's not about competition, it's about community. And we all need to hold hands. We all need to be there for one another. This is critical. We're not even in like, oh yeah, what a great demographic, caregivers. We're trying to save lives now. This is what our mission is. Our mission is not even about who can get more people. It's really about how can we save more people? How can we save caregivers? And no one organization can do it. So we all need to get together and support one another to do that. And I love that your app is about rejuvenating and about revitalizing, because if caregivers don't learn to self-care, we're not going to survive.
Yeah. And so I wanted to ask Dr. Franny, what would be your number one tip that you would give to caregivers?
Oh, I like that.
My number one tip, it'll probably be embrace baby steps, because a lot of times caregivers, they feel like, oh my gosh, self-care is like, I can't do it. It's too, like, I have to be an hour in the gym, or I have to do a whole yoga session. Sometimes it just takes like 5 minutes of taking deep breaths or doing a stretch or a pose, and that can do a lot. You would think it's only a little bit, but it can actually do a lot.
Oh, that's my 10 strategies for self-care. That's why I've got 10 really simple ones.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
No,
The
I love
baby
that.
steps do a lot. Mm-hmm.
And we talked about that too last week. We were talking about how important baby steps are and how important you realize that, a minute could mean everything.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be an hour, and it doesn't have to be 2 hours. And, you can self-care and you can survive if you just give yourself a second. Just give yourself a second, or give yourself 5 minutes, or give yourself a minute, 30 seconds. Anything is better than nothing.
Yeah.
So, good. And I know you also, sometimes I know you offer some special,
Yes.
I always ask, I always ask.
We love to give away prizes over here, because we just think caregivers should be rewarded. Even if you're thinking of becoming a caregiver, you should always get some type of reward, just because.
Right.
So
And
we have our
Starbucks.
Yeah, no. Yes. So we have our QR code here. I don't know if it's accessible through the screen, but you can always go on our website, matchhha.com. There's 3 H's in the middle. If it's not there, then you spelled it wrong, matchhha.com. So if you fill out our Connect With Us form, you have a choice of spinning our prize wheel. We have gift cards, Starbucks gift cards, other prizes. We also, if you join our community, which is also on our website, you can, we also do raffles every month. So there's always an opportunity to win something. But reach out to us. We would love to hear about everyone's experience. Whatever work you do, we just love to hear about your experiences. So.
And you guys are on Instagram too. So
Awesome.
if anyone goes on Instagram, you can go to Instagram and just type in matcha, right? So that's match and the 3 H's in the middle, MATCHHHA. I think it's _app is what it is on Instagram, but check it out, you guys. Trust me, as soon as you type in match and you start putting H's at the end, they pop up.
Yeah.
So check it out.
We give a lot of self-care tips too on our Instagram.
I love that. Yes. So join their Instagram, follow them, and check them out on their website as well. But you guys get that QR code and get in there. You could get you could get like a $25 gift certificate from Starbucks, and hey, then you can get me a frappuccino, and we can have some matcha. And so thank you. I love that. Thank you so much, and thanks for sharing your time with us today, because we know how precious time is when you're a caregiver, and we really appreciate what you're doing. And I know our caregivers will be benefit from this.
Thank you guys so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. We look forward to connecting with you more.
Yes, thank you. Mahalo. Really appreciate it. Aloha.
Bye.
Okay, let me get the right person here now. Okay, there we go. And we're back. I noticed that the wind kind of died down a little, so I think I'm still here.
Yes.
But craziness, it's okay, we can handle it. I want to take a quick moment before we call our next guest up, and I want to just share the activity from our March issue. And I'm actually going to attempt to share screen here. And let's see if I can do this. I always have a hard time with this. Go to the window. There it is. Oh my goodness, bam, I got it. All right, it is up.
Hey,
so this
is
just a little sneaky peeky of it. I'm not letting you guys see the whole thing, because these are just some of them from our National Nutrition Month of Bingo. And so if you just start doing some of these things throughout the month, and you've got plenty of time, it's only 8 days that you've fallen behind, you can catch it up. And like you can see, one is just, no soda for 1 day. Hey, 1 day, go without drinking a soda. That's an easy one. The hardest one is right next to it, which is accept help. That's a tough one, okay? So there's a bunch of great ones there. There's some self-care ones. There's some nutritional ones that you can do. And so please, try them. But do them do everything on the card, and then you can text us a photo of the card that you filled up, and we'll enter you, or just say you did, and you can enter you in a giveaway to win a portable foot massager. That's right. You could
Oh,
win a portable.
they are awesome.
They are the bomb, and they have heat. Everyone loves them. They were a big hit at our last Pamper session, and we have free portable foot massager that we're going to be giving out as a prize. In fact, I think if I scroll here, this was our last month's winner.
Yeah.
Last month, this is Nona Lamb, and she actually won our self-love Pamper Session Valentine gift package, and it's a little bath set. She was so excited, and this is her receiving her prize. So we really do give the prizes away, you guys, and we really want you to enter, and you can win these because we're just trying to encourage you to self-care. All right, it's super important that you self-care. We want you to do that, and just don't miss this opportunity. Get the subscription, find out what's on that bingo, and complete the task. And that's all you have to do. You win. It's a $60 value. And again, look at her face. She's got last month's winners right there. So I'm just trying to figure out how to stop shares. I did it. Stop share screen. How about that? So coming up, by the way, and let me just get this out of the way. Coming up is our second annual, how exciting, Hawaii Caregivers Expo. We're really excited about it, you guys. March 25th, it's the last Saturday of this month, and it's going to be at the Windward Mall from 9 to 5. Go onto our website, gab808.org/expo, and you'll be able to find out about that. Super excited for our expo coming up. In fact, our next guest. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say lots of great vendors and experiences. So, you don't have, it's between 9 and 5. You don't have to stay the whole time, but come and enjoy. There'll be a little bit of pampering and some entertainment and tons of resources.
Yes, tons. I will share I'll share our show with you. I think we have the Keiki Hula coming up, and we just got some fun things, live music playing. And so, that's the fun show, but there's going to be so many wonderful resources and just an opportunity for you to talk one-on-one, right? And so, of course, speaking of that, our next guest is coming up. And so I would love to welcome one of the ones that will be at our expo, one of our partners here and resources. And this is, let me just where is it? Oh, there it is. I'm ready. And this is welcoming to the stream, Todd. Hey, Todd. Todd Pang from Kapuna Care Pair. Right?
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome, Todd.
Care Pair. It's a mouthful, I know.
That's okay. You have to say it 5 times fast, right?
It's burned into my memory, but it sometimes comes out still all jumbled up, depending on how much sleep I
when
get.
you have a long day, sometimes the words just don't roll right off your tongue.
Yeah.
But the meaning is super important because what you do is a very, very important resource. And I cannot tell you how many caregivers come to me asking for this all the time.
Wow.
And so this is definitely something that will not only be referring to you, but definitely a need. And hopefully you'll be able to speak to a lot of caregivers at our expo. But before we start, you need to tell your caregiving story and what drew you to support caregivers.
Yeah. So, I don't personally have any experience caring for an elderly parent or an elderly family member. I am a recent new parent myself, so I have a little bit of childcare experience, and
congratulations.
I give all the moms out there credit for what they all do. It's amazing. Not just having to grow and birth this child, but then to take care of it for years after is so impressive.
Well, being a dad is just as important. You're a team. It's a team effort, and both of you are losing sleep. So, you're already performing in sleep deprivated, in a sleep deprivated state. So what you can manage to do is pretty amazing.
Well, it's certainly work to be a dad, but I definitely have to give credit to the moms, and it's wonderful to celebrate or to be on your show on International Women's Day, because I don't think it's celebrated as much here in the US, but I used to live abroad in China, and it was a really big deal actually. So it's nice that people pay attention to it, and are really emphasizing, even though my wife reminds me, every day should be Mother's Day or Women's Day, which
I like
I
your
do
wine.
agree
Well,
with.
I'm glad that you said it and not us.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I mean, I have been kind of a caregiver to caregivers and family caregivers for years now. I took over my family's care home called Caring Manoa in 2011. Now I don't know where the time has gone,
Yeah.
but it's flown on by. And for over 10 years now, I've been helping family caregivers as they transition, to the next steps with their loved ones out of the home and into, the what I think of as kind of like the last, train station on the track. And there's a lot of guilt. There's a lot of emotion involved. You had mentioned it a little bit earlier.
Right.
The caregiver guilt is a huge thing because
Yeah.
I mean, I just had a woman move in last month who her daughter just felt so guilty about this process of having to let go and feel defeated that she had to move her mom into a care home. And I reassure her that it's not the case. It's really actually like a compliment to what she does, and I'd love to go into more of that. But I've been in this field now for a long time with Kupuna, and have met a lot of families over the years and helped them. Over that period of time, I created another thing called Kupuna Care Pair, which is what I'm talking about with you now, and what I'll be presenting at your fair next couple weeks from now. And it developed organically, and it's really just from meeting families over the years, not knowing what they don't know, being at their wits end, taking care of their loved one at home.
Yeah.
And it's just been kind of like, what can I use my knowledge base and my experience to help other people with? And it sort of became this website. So it's a little bit of it about it, but
Yeah, well,
I
I mean, it's pretty amazing, right? And I apologize, we have a new co-host on the show, but the wind is scaring her, and so being a pet mom is just another caregiving role of mine,
yep.
trying to calm her down. She's terrified when the things start rattling. So apologies for bringing in another
No, no,
co-host there,
no.
Lonnie, not to
Yeah.
discount your hosting ability, but apparently cuteness
Um,
needs to
all
take the
right.
screen.
It's a
Yes,
team
right?
effort.
I know. So, but yeah, I'll tell you, it's so true. And I remember it always takes me back to caregiving for my mom, and man, I couldn't get anyone to call me back. I couldn't get anyone to help me. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know what to do. I must have toured, I don't know, 24 care homes in Hawaii,
Hmm.
trying to figure out what to do, where to go.
Mm,
I had no idea. And, my mother is Japanese speaking. So
hmm.
she's Japanese and English speaking, but Japanese is her primary language. And I was looking for somewhere that was a little more culturally Japanese for her.
Hmm.
And the long search ended, and her second place that I finally found for her is where she is still to this day. And
Oh,
she's in her
great.
final stages of dementia, and she's in
Mm,
hospice, but it's a Japanese cultural environment. And,
hmm.
it was a long journey that I did alone. And
Yeah.
I feel like Kupuna Care Pair understands that and can hold the hand of a caregiver through
Mm,
that kind of a journey. And
hmm.
and am I correct in that? That's what I see it as.
No, absolutely. And like I was saying, when by the time I meet family members, they're like burned out, or they
Oh yeah,
have, made a million mistakes, which are
yeah,
learning experiences, and it's no real mistake in all of this. I mean, we're all doing our best, but um, it's that was one thing that really wanted to focus on is how can I help people with what I know of this stage of life before they need it and before
Mm-hmm.
they're stuck in this last moment of scrambling, because
yeah,
that's where
Yeah.
I really encounter so many families. They're calling me distressed, or maybe they went to the hospital and now they're getting discharged and need something immediately, and
right.
there's so many steps along the way that if there was only just a more convenient way to find this information, or to connect with other people, and a network like yours even, then they may be able to prevent injury but more importantly, be able to like extend that period of time that they are at home for longer, because
Yeah.
as you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
caregiving or receiving care is like so costly.
Oh my
And
goodness.
Yeah.
I meet families that are just unnecessarily depleting their budgets because they are moving into a place too soon.
Yeah.
So a lot of my focus really right now with Kupuna Care Pair is looking at the people that don't need a facility yet, and maybe they won't for a long time, but they need a little bit of guidance, a little bit of support, and that's what I really also love about um, Gab or Give Me a Break, because we professional caregivers, in a lot of ways, we have our own support network in the form of coworkers, colleagues. We if we're at a care home or a facility, we can kind of trade tips and talk to each other. And even though, like you mentioned, at the end of the day we go home and we have to care for our families, it's there's a little bit more of a network. And so that's what I really love about your organization, is that you're creating that for the families who are kind of left to their own devices and trying to kind of reinvent the wheel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
um,
Filling in the gaps.
Yeah.
and filling
And
in the
and
gaps.
and it's a horrible place to be. You're already
Yeah.
terrified. You're
Oh my
so
gosh.
ridden with guilt
Yeah.
that you know that
Mhm.
decision you're making is a total mistake, and you get no support from your family, and you
Mhm.
can't lose face in front of anybody because you have to
Mhm.
be the perfect caregiver,
Oh yeah.
and you're also battling depression of your own. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's a horrible place to be. Again, I wish I had Kupuna Care Pair, because it's almost like saying Care Bear. I love that. I'm sorry, but
That's actually kind of
I
a
wish
riff
I
of what I was going off of.
I
Yeah.
wish
It's
I
like
had your
what?
Care Bear, because I I did put my mother into care probably when she didn't need to be, and I've been
Mhm.
paying for it for years. Right? So that whole she's in hospice, she's gonna live, she's gonna die, she's gonna live, she's gonna die. And I rode this roller
Mhm.
coaster for the past 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
just been
Well,
something
and
that
then
I
I,
wish I
I
had
like
had
what
that
Todd said
support.
about, yeah, when Todd said, sometimes they're going in too soon.
Yeah.
And then there's also the too late. So you're going from,
Right.
I tried, and now it's a crisis situation and you have to move them. And that
You
was
have
kind
no
of where I
choice.
was with
Mhm.
my parents,
Yeah.
that
Mm.
we got to the point where it was going to break the bank even more if we tried to keep
Yeah.
them in their home.
Right.
That,
Yeah.
paying for that, the level of care they needed had gotten to the point where they really needed that assisted living
Mhm.
space. And
Mhm.
so really bringing, and then at the time, not knowing what long-term care options were,
Mm.
not knowing all of the little, whether it was an arch or a foster care or,
Mhm.
what all that meant.
Yeah. Oh,
So
yeah.
just kind of going with the first thing that,
Yeah.
first recommendation that somebody made, or, you know, just like, okay, I'm going to tour 5 places and pick the one that looks and feels the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's clean. Okay, I'll go with this.
Yeah.
I had no idea
Yeah.
what questions to ask or what. Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell us a
Totally.
little bit more about Kupuna Care Pair, and tell us a little bit more about how this works, because
Yeah.
we need a
Mhm.
little more detail.
Sure. 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 Well, and I appreciate both of your personal stories there, because you're not alone in any stretch of the imagination. I mean, there's so many families that had this similar experiences. So Kupuna Care Pair, in my mind, has three main aspects to it. The first one is a really quick and easy sort of assessment tool that I've developed with a programmer. I mean, it's all an online platform, but the programmer and I developed something. It's like a quiz basically, and it doesn't require any of your personal information or your anything personally identifying. It's all multiple choice, and with about 8 questions, it will spit out potentially about 30 plus possible answers based off of somebody's care needs, their budget over the next so many years, and then some of their personal preferences. And based on their answers, it's like choose your own adventure. Do you like a large type of place that maybe might actually feel a little impersonal, or do you like something more intimate but might feel a little bit slower? Do
Right.
you have certain budget per month here or there, or what's your budget per month? Do you need care around the clock, or is it just sort of for emergencies only. And I developed this quiz through just years and years of talking to families and advising them on like what I'm hearing, because they'll call me and say, oh, I really need a care home. But then I'm hearing it and hearing their situation and thinking, well, maybe you should try actually like adult daycare and manage, care at home with a little bit of home care, but adult daycare would be a great first step, or,
That's brilliant.
something.
That's just brilliant. I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't know what questions to ask myself, right? I didn't
Right.
even know what I wanted. But if I'd have had this quiz, it would have prompted me to kind of think about it more and to really get in that headspace and understand what the needs were a little better. I think that's brilliant.
Yeah. I mean, it's really meant, it's a process of elimination, actually, the quiz is, because there's like 1,800 facilities plus
Yeah.
services statewide. Like, it's crazy. Like, nobody has time to read about or
Yeah.
visit
And
any
when
of those.
I commented earlier that I did like 24 care homes, I didn't even take a nibble out of what's out
Oh,
there,
yeah.
and I was
Yeah.
exhausted. So,
Right.
right?
And that's segueing into another part of my website. But anyway, so the quiz is something that I just, over the years, I've been advising families and helping them sort of navigate this whole thing, and finally got it down into something really easy to do. And you can just take it over and over again and make little tweaks, and it will eliminate whole swaths of maybe care that are not appropriate because maybe it's too expensive, or maybe not appropriate because the level of services provided are more medical in nature, or whatever the kind of intricacies of each person's needs are. So that's the first thing about it. The second aspect of the website is just my entire knowledge base of like elderly care and senior services. I've just like put it on the website. And I mean, Lonnie, you kind of mentioned a little bit about it. It's like, I don't know what the difference is between a care home or a foster home or a nursing home. Just like all of that information I've put into a kind of a more organized way of understanding and getting the basics about long-term care services out there, just quick and easy. So, it's kind of a flow. You first take the quiz, and then you find out, okay, maybe home care is the most appropriate for me right now. Let me then look at the home care and what that means. And so I go to the other section and read about the pros and the cons, because there's no, best option. Everyone has a different situation. So there's always a pro and a con to what home care or daycare is. And then there's some information about pricing. And then I have a comprehensive map of like just every licensed services in the state, care
That's
homes,
the key right there,
facilities.
folks.
Yeah.
Licensed facility. I love
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And home care agencies. And so all of that is on one single map, which I don't think that exists anywhere else on the internet. Like,
No, it
it's just
doesn't.
one single map where you can find everything, and you can filter by the different types of services. And then from there, the third component of what I've got on the website is what I call my elderly care marketplace. So if you envision like, booking a hotel, nobody really calls their travel agent anymore. They just go on one of these online websites, and then they can see information about different care homes. And right now it's care homes and foster homes, but I do intend for it to grow through the whole spectrum of care services. And like you were saying, Savvy, you have maybe seen like 24 of these places and maybe called 24 of them, and like that probably took a lot of time. And
Exhausting. It took me
you probably
weeks,
had
months.
this, oh my gosh. And the conversation repeats over and over again. You ask the same basic questions. And so, kind of like Dr. Franny earlier, we're trying to use technology to make this process easier and more efficient. And so, like a hotel booking website where you can filter by price, or you can filter by location, or you can filter by all these things, my elderly care marketplace, each care facility has their own page, and it has pictures and has all this information about their base rate and their services, and the description of what they do. And you can actually filter using like 100 or so different criteria to narrow down what you're looking for. So if I'm looking for care services in this certain budget, or maybe I really, really want a private bedroom, or maybe, I have a furry loved one who I have to take, there's a button for, do they allow my own pets? There's filters by like, what kind of COVID precautions they have, or do they require vaccines? All kinds of criteria like this. And then you can quickly narrow down, and again, process of elimination, disregard a whole swath of potential facilities that are just going to not be appropriate for me. And maybe because I'm looking for something right now, you can click by like, do they have vacancy? So I just think that this is using a very simple and very accessible
Amazing.
technology, but to apply
Because
it
the
to
24 that I went to,
Oh,
none
yeah.
of them were ones that I would have
Oh,
gone
gosh.
to,
Yeah,
right?
right.
So I had 0 out of 24,
Oh
and
my gosh.
I could have filtered that out
Mhm.
in just one filter on your app, you
Yep.
know, and I wouldn't have wasted all of that time.
Mhm.
And I know there are so many who are going through this. I just had a caregiver contact me a couple weeks ago, and they were looking
Mhm.
for something in a certain area, and I
Mm.
just said, contact Kupuna Caregiver.
No,
But,
thank you. Yeah.
also I said, also open your mind to other areas, because
Mhm.
maybe, you're just trying to think you want something close, but
Yeah.
you want to get the right fit. So
Oh my gosh.
open your mind to other
Yep.
places, but here's what you need. I said, they have a map. It's like, it's the greatest thing in the world. And so, that makes it so much easier. And I love when you see things on maps, and then you
Yeah.
can kind of go there and find the one and see if that's what's going to work for you. But
Mhm.
I think you definitely created something that's so needed. And I'm super excited about our caregivers being able, in our community, being able to access what you have.
Yeah.
So you guys, it just go to hello@kupuna.com if you need to contact them for anything. But it's just kupunacarepair.com.
That's right.
kupunacarepair.com. It's just that easy. You go on their website, it walks you through it. It's not hard to use. I tried it. It's very simple, and definitely get paired up with the care that your kupuna needs. Also,
Yeah, thank you.
you have a pairing that's coming up. You're actually
Mhm.
partnering. You have a partnering that's coming that you want to talk about, right? Why don't you tell us
Yeah,
about
well,
who
I
you are
just want to,
now?
I mean, I was telling you, Savvy, that you heard it here first on Give Me a Break. It's or the Caring Caregiver Show, but it's I have a partnership with a city and county now, Elderly Affairs Division, and it's to provide caregiver support presentations to the
That
community.
is
And
awesome.
so uh, it's
Yeah.
a it's a multi-year, multi-part series, all free to the community, and we're talking about different topics such as, what are like the main priorities, like how do I even know my priorities for care, or how best do I work with the caregiver, or what are the pros and cons of staying at home, or what are the most important things to ask of caregivers when I'm thinking about the next steps. So there's a lot of topics that we could cover. Cost is a huge one,
Right,
pitfalls,
right. That's
and
amazing.
I'm really excited to, it's information about it is on my website, and I'm starting in April through there, and
That's great. In fact, I have somebody that I want to connect you with. I'll connect
oh,
with you
great,
offline.
thank you.
Yep, we're
Yeah,
already thinking about major things and wonderful things we can do moving forward. And it's so wonderful to have you on the show and as part of what we do. And this is what the Caring Caregiver Show is really about.
I love it.
And not just showcasing resources, but we always talk about this, you guys, a resource with heart, a resource
Mhm.
that has the heart of a caregiver, that understands what you're going through. And look at this, pay it forward. This is how
Mhm.
Todd is giving back by
Mhm.
giving these free presentations and working with the Office of Elder Affairs. And they're also going to be at our expo. So this is going to
Great.
be a wonderful time for you to talk with anyone and get all kinds of great tips and help. You need
Mhm.
it. Accept help. That was on our bingo, you
You're not
guys.
alone. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not alone. You are
Well,
not
and
alone.
I think when we're talking about, caregivers, this is part of the self-care, is
Yeah.
finding the
Mhm.
resources that sort of lift the burden off of your shoulders
Oh
to
gosh.
help
Yeah.
in your caregiving role.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And oftentimes people don't see that as part of their self-care.
Yeah. Yeah.
Totally.
They just think I've got to handle it all. I've got to handle it all.
Mhm.
And don't necessarily know where to reach out or who to ask. but being able
Yeah.
to connect with these resources actually is part of your caregiver self-care.
Yeah.
Totally. And I'm glad you bring that up, because self-care is huge for realizing that it's time to get to the next stage.
Yeah.
One of the in my care home, one of the biggest goals of mine is to hear families say, "Oh, I don't have to think about all these millions of details. I can be a daughter again. I can be the son again, and just enjoy my relationship with my parent, as opposed to that relationship deteriorating and all the stress, or maybe I'm not getting along with my siblings because they think one thing and I have different priorities. I see that so much, and when they come into the care home and it's the right fit, like, it's just everything feels so groovy and like relaxing, and that's part of the self-care, because otherwise it doesn't do anybody a disservice.
Awesome.
Well, super exciting. Thanks again. Really appreciate having you on the show and talking with you. And I feel like we could just keep talking because there's so much.
Keep talking. You got to cut
I
me
know.
off.
Well, we can't.
I will connect with you.
No, we all can. And we're definitely going to connect with you. But caregivers out there listening and watching, please connect up with Todd. And it's Kupuna Care Pair, you guys. It's just kupunacarepair.com, and take the test, and do it. Don't wait. Don't wait till it's too late to do it. Do it now. Talk to Todd. He's a great guy. I'm so honored to have you on our show today, and can't wait to see you at the expo.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
Yay.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
All right. Aloha. Wow. Just amazing, right? I love our resources. And, we were just talking about this in our session too, was about how worry affects your body physically and what it does to your organs in your body. And, when you can relieve that worry and change your whole caregiving journey just by one contact, if we've done that, then we've done our jobs. And what an amazing, amazing thing. Speaking of our support sessions, just a reminder, you guys, weekly support sessions are open. They're online, open to you. Anyone who is a caregiver, was a caregiver, thinks they'll be a caregiver, don't even know if you're a caregiver or not, join us. They're Tuesday evenings at 8 p.m. every week, and Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. And this is Hawaii Standard Time. So just get on our sessions. It's just really a community of caregivers that are there to support one another, okay?
I think it's really about education. Education and resources to help you survive caregiving.
Yes. Yep. And I noticed Todd's still in the green room. So, Todd, if you want to, you just can hit that leave button anytime. You're welcome to stay on for the rest of our blabbering, but if you got to go, we understand that too. And you're welcome to just hit that leave red X, and you can leave the studio anytime. I forgot to tell you everybody that in the beginning. So, all right. So there we go. Join me next week, you guys. I will be having two amazing caregivers on. I don't know if Lonnie's going to be joining me or not, but you're more than welcome to join me as well, Lonnie. Love having a co-host again. So we'll have Katie Ranney with the Pacific Mediation Center. And they have a wonderful program, Kupuna Pono, that helps families to communicate. And so I love that. And we'll also have Kamaka Jingao on, who's going to be talking about from financial benefits insurance. And he'll give us some Medicare advice. And he's a great guy, great heart. And you all know him. But they're both going to be at our expo as well. So set a reminder on your phone or on your computer to tune in with us live every Wednesday for the Caring Caregiver Show, which is brought to you by Give Me a Break and also sponsored by Giver's Guide. And don't worry if you miss us live, because you can always check out our podcast on Spotify or Apple or any platform. Just search the Caring Caregiver Show or go to our website. And I need to pull that up right there and take that off. There you go. Just go to our website, thecaringcaregivershow.com. Or, you can even watch us on our YouTube channel. And you have to type it in, Caring Caregiver Show. But it does come up, and you can check out our YouTube channel and watch us if you're watching us live now. And if not, go there and please follow and subscribe, because the more subscribers we can get, the more faces we can get in front of, and the more caregivers we can get this knowledge to. So really, really important. And again, my heart to my sister from another, Mr. Lonnie, thank you so much for being on this crazy show today. The wind's kind of subsided, so
The wind is,
Thank
it's
goodness.
kind of dying down on this side. We're on opposite sides of this island, but I now have a pet under my desk. My cat is
Terrified.
binging.
Yes,
Um,
my dog too.
Yeah,
It's
but I did
crazy.
want to say, also add that for people listening, you can also follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. We also have a Facebook group. So join us on any of those platforms to get more information, more resources, more support, and just join this community of caregivers caring for each other.
That's what we're doing. And we're just trying to show you that you're not alone, that you have support, and that we get it. We all know what it's like. So, join in our community and be part, hold hands with other caregivers who are just like you. You're not alone. You're not the only one going through this, even though it feels that way. And you got others who know how to support you and can be there for you. So, gosh, in the meantime, remember, please, to just breathe. And here's hoping that you're finding more joy in caregiving every week right here on the Caring Caregiver Show. So thanks for tuning in, and please always just be kind to yourself and to all you're caring for. So here's for everyone who's out there that's caring. Aloha and have a wonderful, wonderful week. We'll see you all next week. Thanks again, Lonnie.
All right. Aloha. Thank you.
Aloha. Bye.
Right.